Abuja.
February 4th is World Cancer Day, which main purpose is to raise awareness of all types of cancer and to encourage its prevention, detection and treatment. Cancer has become a major source of mortality and morbidity globally. Cancer has been said to be the world's third deadliest disease after HIV/AIDS and malaria. In Nigeria, some 100,000 new cases of cancer occur every year with high case fatality ratio. The World Health Organization (WHO) states that over 8.8 million cancer deaths are recorded globally yearly, out of which an estimated 80,000 are Nigerians, averaging 240 Nigerians every day or 10 Nigerians every hour. In 2008, Nigeria contributed 15% to the estimated 681,000 new cases of cancer that occurred in Africa. Cancer is said to be the unwanted growth of cells in any part of the body, and in many societies around Africa and Nigeria, cancer remains a forbidden subject as people living with cancer are often subject to stigma that may stop them from admitting that they have cancer or stops them from seeking health and support. The World Health Organization (WHO) has encouraged Nigeria and other countries to prioritize basic high impact and low cancer diagnosis systems or services, and also recommend reducing the need for people to pay for care out of their own pockets, which prevents many from seeking help in the first place. To all those with cancer, lending a helping hand and comforting them by showing them support and praying for them would give them hope and confidence that all will be well. The World Health, Nigeria joined the world to celebrate or create awareness for prevention of cancer, and they tagged it "We Can and I Can." So I'm here today to talk to Dr. Otabor, who will be giving us more insights on how to prevent cancer here in the FCT. You're welcome to DatelineAbuja, Dr. Otabor.
Thank you.
So I'll be asking you some questions on cancer. We'll be glad I'm saying, because everybody goes, especially when you talk.
Thank you. Yes, recently the world celebrated the World Cancer Awareness Day, and really, like you mentioned, the theme for this year is "I Can, We Can." That means it's a collective effort, individually and as a community. We have the ability to push cancer at bay if we strengthen our will and know what is important to know about cancer. Now, to talk about the definition of cancer. Cancer is an abnormal proliferation of cells that has gone out of control of the normal body mechanism, and the tendency is for those cells to infiltrate normal tissues and ultimately lead to the death of the individual. So that's cancer. It's some normal process gone wild, because the way we grow, the way we renew ourselves as human beings is by cell division and by cell multiplication. But that process is controlled by genes in the body. It's controlled by certain mechanisms. But when that control process is lost, cells of a particular group keep multiplying and increasing in size. They are abnormal cells. They compete with normal cells for nutrients. They compete with normal cells for space. They block normal passages. And one of the strong tendencies of this type of cell is for them to spread. That's actually where the word cancer was derived from. Cancer derived from the word that means crab-like. That's its tentacles, its wings, it spreads. And it can spread locally, it can spread through the blood vessel or through lymphatics to affect distant organs, and it can damage those organs and ultimately lead to death if nothing is done.
Now, I'm sure this is a very common question that it's still beating everybody, because I know there's no direct answer, but what is the cause cancer?
Yeah, nobody knows for sure what the cause of cancer is, but only a few cancers have direct cause, but there are associated factors. They are initiating factors. There are factors that when you put them together, you can say, well, these are things that are associated with cancer. For instance, we know that when a woman is infected with human papilloma virus from sexual intercourse, that can set the stage for cervical cancer in the future. But it's not every woman that was infected that will come down with cancer. So that's why we cannot say that is the cause.
Okay, but is there a way for you not to have that disease,
yes,
and just get the cervical cancer?
Yes, people who didn't have the disease can still have the cancer.
Wow. From
yes. Where? Yeah, so that's why we said there are associated factors. When there are genetic factors, there are environmental factors, there are lifestyle factors. So cancer is a complex group of diseases that have different causes and different predisposing factors. So it's not one. For instance, smoking is strongly associated with cancer of the lungs or oropharyngeal cancer, cancer around the mouth. Not everybody that smoke that will get cancer of the lungs, but if you look at those who have cancer of the lungs, the majority of them would have smoked.
What if you never smoked in your life and you still have cancer? Is it possible?
That's what I'm saying, yes. People who have never smoked before can have cancer of the lungs, because it's not only smoking that is the associated factor. But studies have shown that among people who smoked, the number of people that will come down with cancer of the lungs is higher among that group of people than in the normal people who didn't smoke. Yeah, so we call them associated factor or potentiating factor or causative factors, but they are not the cause. Yeah, because if it is the cause, then we can say for sure that if you smoke, you will have cancer. But what we can say is that if you smoke, you increase your chances of having cancer.
Okay.
Because there are other possible causes.
Okay. How common is cancer, especially in Nigeria? I know our statistics are not so clear, but how common is it?
We are lacking in statistics in many areas.
In all areas, yes.
All areas. We don't even know how many we have.
We're estimated 200 million.
Yeah, we're estimates. So we cannot say for sure, but we can say that what we can say for sure is that the incidence of cancer is rising. Before, it used to be known as a disease of the Western world, because that was what was killing people more in the West than infectious diseases. But as we began to westernize in terms of our diet, our lifestyle, so we are also beginning to see the trend of cancer rising as society evolves, as affluence increases. You know, we are beginning to see, as we imbibe the habits of the Western society, the incidence of cancer has been rising. But globally, over 8 million people die of cancer every year. That's huge.
Yes, that's huge.
Yes.
So what's the survival for cancer? How is it measured?
Oh, okay. From the time cancer is diagnosed, survival is measured in terms of 1 year survival, 5 year survival, 10 year survival.
Is that like managing survival? Like how you manage diabetes and all that?
Yeah, once cancer is diagnosed, a fight for the life of that person starts. And the fight goes on. There are many ways of managing the cancer. It could be surgery, it could be chemotherapy, it could be radiotherapy, it could be some other means. But when to talk in terms of survival of that person, we talk about 1 year survival, 5 year survival, 10 year survival. Usually after people have survived for 10 years without traces of cancer, in many instances they could be said to have been cured. Yes. And because of the nature of cancer, survival is dependent on many factors, especially the character of the nature of the cells, the cancer cells, the virulence, the aggression of the cancer. There are some people, they will have the same cancer as another set of people, but the first set, we can say, well, because of the aggression, it's not as aggressive. This person may likely do 5-10 years, but for some, within the first year of diagnosis, the person is gone. Why? Because of the type, the behavior of the cancer cells. Okay, so that's how we measure the treatment outcome of patients in terms of number of years the patient can survive.
Okay, so it's cancer hereditary.
Well, hereditary is a factor in the causation of cancer, but
Can you mention the types?
Yes, we cannot say cancer is inherited, but because if a mother, for instance, has breast cancer, there's a high chance that her children, her female children, would have breast cancer. But not all the children will have. In fact, all of them may not have.
Okay. All of them may have.
Well, it's very rare for all of them to have. It's a very rare condition. Yes. Yeah, except those that are directly genetically caused, like those who have the genes, the breast cancer gene. But even at that, it's not all the genes that would be expressed to fullness to produce cancer. Yeah. So hereditary is a strong factor in the causation of cancer. That's why if any close first degree relative has been diagnosed of cancer or died of cancer, we probe more. We tend to do closer follow-up on the relatives of those people.
So when you talk about dieting, people be like, please, in the village, people eat pounded yam, all the carbohydrates, they drink their local palm wine, they smoke tobacco, and they live very healthy. And they do all the things that you're saying don't do, but they still live up to 100 and something. So,
well, that's there's no statistics that show that the rural community, their life expectancy is actually lower than in the urban communities, because there's more healthcare facilities in the urban community than in the rural area. But the rural areas, they have less tendency to develop cancer because the incidence of pollution is less. Yes, all the fumes that we inhale, that's one. Two, they are closer to nature. I mean, they pluck food from the tree and eat it without having to buy it. They get fresh food from the farm and right straight into the pot, and then they eat. So they get all the nutrients. But by the time it comes to town, there's so much refining, and those refining tend to take away the nature's essence from the food and leaves us with just fillers, things to just get us going. So if I have my way, I would want to live in the village to eat what is there in the rural community, but I prefer the health facilities in the urban center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, before we go, I would like to find out what you guys are actually doing, medical doctors in Nigeria. I know that creating awareness through what we're doing right now is one way, and there are also other NGOs that actually try to support the prevention or create awareness for cancer. But what is the medical body doing about it?
Well, the Nigerian Medical Association is always talking about breast cancer awareness. Talking about cancer awareness generally. Yes, and we're a critical stakeholder. And every doctor is a stakeholder, and every doctor must be doing something, because they are the ones that have the opportunity of doing one-on-one with the patients, with the general public, with people who come in, who walk into the hospital. So when they come in, that's an opportunity to educate them about cancer generally and the other health issues. And I take the opportunity to talk to my patients, not just about cancer, about their general health, diabetes, hypertension, cancer. You know, there are so many things that threaten the lives of people. So it's not just cancer, but today we are talking about cancer. So every doctor must have that responsibility to educate their patients beyond what brought them to the hospital.
Well, this is an opportunity for you to create awareness. Do you have a final word for our viewers out there?
What I can say is that most cancers are preventable. For those that cannot be prevented, if they are detected early, the chances of survival are higher. Let's do the things that would help us prevent cancers, and let's make sure that we go to the hospitals for our annual medical check. You don't have to be sick to go to the hospital. Some of the things that I've said today, if we follow them, I'm sure we'll be able to keep cancer away. Don't say it can never happen to you. Yes, I know it can never happen to you, but we have to take responsibility to ensure that it doesn't happen. Thank you.
We can and I can creating cancer awareness globally. This is DatelineAbuja. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Well, that's the much we can take this week on DatelineAbuja. Keep a date with me, same time, same station. But before you go, do not forget to go for your monthly or your yearly checkups. Visit a hospital very close to you. Don't forget, prevention is better than cure. Well, streaming live right now on our Facebook page. You can just go there. It's DatelineAbuja with Hawa Momo. And you can follow us on our YouTube channel and our Twitter handle showing right now on your TV screen. Be a part of DatelineAbuja. Let's talk about anything close to you. We are here just to please you. Till I come your way, same time, same station. I'm Hawa Momo. A very good morning and take good care of yourself.